What's up guys, it's Aiden, and today we are going to go through how the song Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar was made. Let's jump into the remake. This year, I've gotten very good at remaking songs, humbly speaking. Behind the scenes, I've really been pushing myself to become better. And what better way to test out my new skills than with a hood classic, the song that swept the nation, that ended the beef. Now I know what you're thinking, didn't you remake this song already? And the answer to that is yes. And that video is gone. Why is it gone? I answer that question on Patreon. I actually can't talk about it on YouTube. So I did this entire remake from scratch, live on Patreon. So if you want to watch that full long form video, it's about 40 minutes. You can join as a free member, don't have to pay any money, and you can watch that there if you're interested. Enough rambling, let's get into it. So first off, we're going to set the tempo down to 101 BPM. Can I type in value? Oh, look at this. You can right click on it and go type in value and just type 101 and that will set the tempo. Pretty cool. Not Like Us samples the song Monk Higgins' I Believe to My Soul. It's a song that came out in 1982, I think. And we have 3 chops from this song. First one comes in around 30 seconds in. So we can go to our cut tool or press C to activate the cut tool. And we're going to be making some chops here, here, and at the end, right there. Then we're moving forward to 1 minute in, and we have this final chop from the sample. Cuts out right here. So we have these 3 audio clips arranged like so. Next up, we're going to be speeding and pitching these samples up. So let's go to our stretch tool, or you can go Shift M to activate the stretch tool, and we're going to be dragging in the sample. So it lasts 2 bars exactly. So I've pulled in the original song as a reference, and we're just lining up the waveforms to make sure everything looks good. The second part is actually too quick. So we're going back to our slice tool. C is the shortcut. Hold Option, and we can very precisely cut it at this point right here. Let's use our stretch tool, Shift M, and we're going to drag this out. And now, as you can see, everything is lining up perfectly. So the second part of the loop is a little bit slower. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the next 2 chops. Here's a cool little trick in FL Studio. Hold Shift, Option, and if you have a mouse, you can use the scroll wheel to scrub. I think it's called scrubbing. You scrub the audio back like so. So we want it lining up. Here we go. Let me rename this to sample. Next up, we're going to add some tails to these samples so that they very quickly just fade out. We don't want any clicks or pops in these samples. We want it to sound really nice and crispy. As you can see, it was done in the original song. They have these really quick fades between the samples. Let's double click on one of these audio clips and let's bring up the pitch range to 6. And we're going to take it up by 6 semitones. Then for effects, let's put this onto the mixer. And first effect we're adding is FabFilter Pro Q4. Now I do like to use native FL Studio plugins in these remakes, but with certain effects, it is easier to use these paid plugins. So we now have an equalizer on the sample. Let's double click in the treble and we're going to type in the value 16,000 Hertz, changing this to a low pass filter. And let's make the slope a brick wall. That means we're cutting off any audio coming above 16,000 Hertz. And you can see this was done in the original song. The audio above 16,000 Hertz has been cut out. Let's go to the low end and we are adding a low shelf. This comes in at 500 Hertz and we're taking this down by 3 decibels. And let's make the Q a bit softer, 0.4 for a gentle slope down. So now we have this. Next up, we are adding a multi-band compressor. So we're going to go to FabFilter Pro MB and we're just using a basic 3 full bands preset. The way that a multi-band compressor works compared to a normal compressor is we have individual frequency ranges. As you can see, we have the lows, the mids, and the highs. And at each of these ranges, we have a threshold for the audio. And when the audio coming through that particular range goes above the threshold, we start compressing that audio. For example, in the mid-range, we have a threshold of negative 18 decibels. And so when the audio coming through the mid-range surpasses negative 18 decibels, which means it gets louder than that point, any volume above that point will be compressed by a ratio of 4:1. Multiband compression is an incredible tool. So if you've been sleeping on multiband compression, my boy, you got to get into it. So now we have this. Now the mix is a lot more balanced. And finally, on top of that, we're just going to be adding some normal compression. So I'm just going to pull up Fruity Compressor and let's make the threshold once again negative 18 decibels. And let's make the ratio a bit softer. We're going to go 2 to 1. Then we are boosting up the gain to 2 decibels. So that happens after the compression. Sometimes you'll see compressors have pre-gain and post-gain. Basically, this is saying before it hits the compressor, we can boost up the audio. So more audio is going to be compressed. Or afterwards, we can boost up the audio after the compression is done. So here we are adding post-gain. Compared to the original song. Pretty good, right? Pretty good. So that's the sampling. Next up, let's change the snap to grid to bar. And we're going to select these 2 bars and hold Control B, B, B. I really like the sampling on this song. I think it's one of the biggest reasons why instrumentally Not Like Us was such a big success. And so as a producer, you might be wondering, how do I find samples like this? If you're familiar with Output, you know they put out really high quality stuff. And they just released a brand new plugin, Co-Producer. And Co-Producer, man, is insane. Put simply, it's insane. I like fast beats. Let me show you something real quick. The way Co-Producer works is you add it to the master channel and it works directly in your DAW. So say you're using FL Studio and you have this, I just made this generic beat right here. So we add the key that we're in, which is ironically A minor, and you can describe the samples that you want. So let's say ethereal, dark, bell, loop. Find samples. And it does this all directly within your DAW. And all of the samples are going to be aligning with your project. Let's have a listen. And on top of that, one of the biggest things I hate about samples is that other producers are probably going to have the same sample. And what you can do here is you can go reimagine, which will give you variants on the sample. So you're getting one-of-a-kind samples. No other producer is going to have the same sample that you get using Co-Producer if you use the reimagine feature, which I think is super underrated. Listen. Damn. And so you can just drag the audio clip straight into your project. So this is a unique sample that was created and I modified it using Co-Producer. Pretty sweet, using their reimagine feature. So no one else is going to have this sample. And on top of that, here's the big one, no credits. So you have unlimited access to as many samples as you want from Co-Producer. Huge shout out to Output for sponsoring this video. Definitely go check out Co-Producer in the description below. Next up, we have the identical 808, which in my original breakdown a year ago, I thought it was the Spins 808. I'm going to go Spins 808. We try and line it up with the waveforms of the original song. Doesn't match up. If we reverse the polarity, it doesn't match up at the beginning, at the transient. So very close, but not the exact 808. The exact 808 is the better spins. Look at this, look at this. The waveforms just flawlessly match up. That sounds like this. And we're making some modifications. First up, we're going to be boosting up the gain to 5%. Then we're boosting up the out so that the sample decays a little bit faster. Heading to the envelope/instrument settings, we're making this envelope hold 1%, decay time 1%. So at the very beginning of the sample, it's playing at 100% volume. This is such a valuable trick to know to make your 808s a little bit more punchy. Because if we look at the original song, look how loud the transient of the 808 gets. It's distorting. So the very start of the 808, about this much of the sample, 1%, is clipping. What else is interesting is we are actually adding some release to the 808. So it doesn't cut off when it stops playing. The 808 plays this exact pattern. In the original song, there's this weird 808 warp sound right here. We're actually making an 808 roll, which you can see looking at the waveforms. So check this out. If we pull in the better spins now, I just made some cuts like so, and you'll see the waveforms lining up perfectly. Look at this. And you can see I just duplicated the MIDI underneath. And so that's the roll. But as you'll hear, it doesn't sound quite right just yet compared to the original song. We're going to be adding this to our mixer. We're adding some distortion. I believe Mustard used this exact plugin. We're adding Fruity Fast Dist, which is a native free distortion plugin within FL Studio. And we're switching the distortion type from A to type B. So type A is a bit more of a gritty type of distortion. and type B has a bit more of a bitey type of distortion. But obviously this is too aggressive, so we need to bring down the mix. I think it's exactly 18%. Next up, I like to check my work. So the way I do this is I will actually right-click on the pattern and go render and replace, which converts the audio to MIDI. No, it converts the MIDI to audio. And this will allow us to compare the audio to the original song. And as you can see, even the release is correct. In the MIDI itself, it tells the 808, okay, stop playing here. But because we added 10% release, it fades away now, like it was done in the original song. Without the release, it would look like this, basically. Even the waveforms of the roll are lining up to the original song. Next up, we have the identical snap sample, which is the Snap Beat King. This is a pretty generic snap sample, so if you go looking for it, you will find it. This version has the exact reverb as well, so I knew that this was the sample. It's the Beat King Snap. Compared to the original song. We're doing very little to modify this sample. We are normalizing it, and we're taking up the sample start. To get rid of the pre-delay, we need to boost up the sample start, so it plays instantaneously. And that plays on the 2 and 4. We can make this a different color, actually. I like green. Sorry I said it like that. Green's okay. I like green. I don't know. Anyway. Relatively simple. Then we move on to the closed hat. The exact closed hat and open hat both originate from the Roland TR-808 drum machine. You'll find these samples in every kit. So first one, this is the closed hat, and this is the open hat. As you can see, CH stands for closed hat, OH is open hat. You'll see this lingo in a lot of drum kits. And fun fact, some music trivia that no one will ever ask you, Roland digitally made them using 6 detuned square oscillators, and they added a high pass filter. So the closed hat plays this pattern. And the open hat plays that pattern. Compare that to the original song. Hey. Next up, we have the identical piano coming in from Omnisphere, and we are using the ambient space piano, the first preset in keyboards. When you open up this preset, it comes drowned in reverb, so we have to go to the effects and turn off the reverb on oscillator A, B, and on common. I'm debating. We'll probably leave that one on. F sharp, E, C sharp, D. I'm feeling like a more of a red, orangey sort of orange. How's that look? What do you guys reckon? And we need to drag these out a little bit longer so it decays a bit slower. Sounds like this. Orange. Sweet.
Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching.
Shoo! Now you thought I was done. But we have one more sample, one that I missed the first time. Once again, this isn't a big component, but it's a component in the song that I missed. And it plays a lot in the song, and I missed it. And I guarantee you missed it as well. No one corrected me in the comments below. No one said, hey, you missed that sound. No one noticed. There's actually a bongo. I don't know what's up with these bongos these days, but there's a bongo playing in this song. You can hear it right here. Right there, right there. Super subtle. And the exact bongo used is the Pharrell bongo. Legendary stuff. Can you believe it? This changes everything. And it plays like this. But we need to modify it slightly, bring the cutoff down inside the sample itself. And we're panning the sample quite strongly to the left. Alrighty. This is the final result. Sweet. I'm such a Drake fan, man. I'm such a Drake fan. Shit. Damn it, why is it such a good song? That's it for the Remake today. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and comment below if you're a man. because that's like 99% of you. But anyway, so if you don't comment, and I'll know.